first. He was here before you.
Okay, no problem.
Not a problem. Oh, wait. Who represents? Okay, so I guess I just noticed that. Who represents Shoemate?
I do, Your Honor.
Jeff
It's
Bennett.
Jeffrey
Okay.
Bennett.
All right. We don't normally have two Bennetts. All right. So this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan. Oh, wait. Davis. Davis.
And Your Honor, my apologies. I have to jump into another Zoom. So if you could skip me or skip
No,
a few past me.
I'll take you right now, Brandon,
Okay.
if you want.
Okay.
All right, so, because I have Brandon Davis right now, and I don't see Mr. Shoemate, so I gotta look for him. All right, this is in the matter of people of the state of Michigan versus Brandon Michael Davis. File number 22-21006 FH. I have, trying to find something with your P number. I have Samuel Bennett appearing on behalf of Brandon Davis. Mr. Bennett, what's your P number?
P79221, Your Honor, and good morning.
All right, and okay, did we get a test from Mr. Davis?
Judge, I had a test here. I was hoping to test them this morning.
All right, so okay, Brandon Davis, where do you live? What, you still in Cement City?
No, Your Honor, I'm actually in Adrian.
All right, can you please come to the courthouse because we need you to be tested?
Yeah, like right now?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll get the court date, but I'm gonna need you to be tested today. So, all right, so, and I have Isaac Sneed appearing on behalf of the people. So, Mr. Samuel Bennett, how would you like to proceed today?
Your Honor, there is an offer on the table where Mr. Davis would plead guilty to the receiving, concealing, and the possession of methamphetamine would be dismissed with entry into drug court. So he still needs to be screened for that anyway. So we're just going to ask for an adjournment so that he can be screened. Hopefully he could do that this morning, even when he's there doing his drug test.
Well, it takes a little bit more time to screen than you can't just walk in and do it. So they'll have to arrange that. So
Okay.
I'm going to set a pretrial for January 11th. That should give enough time. And then we'll have him screened for drug court. I don't have anybody from drug court available right now. I'm sorry. Mr. Post, I didn't realize you were logged into Zoom.
Yeah. Judge.
So, let's get this test easier. Well, actually, all right, so Mr. Davis, when you come in today to get drug tested, I'm gonna need your contact information, and if you could give that to Mr. Post for me, I can give that to Sarah Teskey, and then she can make arrangements to screen you for drug court, okay?
Okay.
All right, so Mr. Samuel Bennett, you said that January, what did I say, January 11th at 8:30 would be all right?
That works for me, Your Honor.
All right, so we'll see you back January 11th at 8:30, and that'll be via Zoom. And then Mr. Davis, you can come in and test today and make sure you understand the color schedule and how you need to test, all right?
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your
All
Honor.
right,
And I'll draft a stipend order. Mr. Sneed, can I sign for you and send to the court?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so, Mr. Sneed, were you able to reach Miss Meir?
I was, Judge. But we'll be agreeable to that. It's fine.
All right, so, Mr. Daly?
I think it'll be prepared.
Mr. Daly, I don't know why, but we're having real difficult time hearing you. Could you say that again?
I believe he'll be prepared to plead at this time, Your Honor.
All right, so Mr. Schisler, the plea offer then in this case is plead to count one, assault with a dangerous weapon, which carries a maximum penalty of up to 4 years in prison and or a $2,000 fine. The other 2 counts would be dismissed at the time of sentencing, and there would be a Killebrew agreement to no upfront jail. Do you understand that plea offer?
And can you repeat that, please?
Sure. So the plea offer is to plead guilty to count 1, assault with a dangerous weapon.
Judge,
that
you're
carries
breaking up really bad.
I don't know what to do. All right, Rhonda, I'm gonna put you in the waiting room. I'm gonna put Darren Coasts in the, Mr. Bennett, I'm gonna put you in the waiting room, put the jail in the waiting room. I apologize, it's the Polycom causes this, and I don't know why. All right. I think we
Judge,
got
I
the
actually
bare
just got a
minimum.
notification that it's our internet.
I don't know. All right, so Mr. Schisler, the plea offer is to plead guilty to count 1, felonious assault or assault with a dangerous weapon. That carries a maximum penalty of up to 4 years in prison and or a $2,000 fine. But there's what's called a Killebrew agreement between the prosecutor's office and your attorney that there would be no upfront jail. The other 2 felonies would be dismissed at the time of sentencing. Sentencing would be sometime in January. I think it's January. And that's it. Do you have any questions, Mr. Schisler?
No, Your Honor, I do not.
All right. Do you wish to take that plea bargain, plea offer?
Yes, I do.
All right. Can you raise your right hand so I can see it on your screen?
Yeah, 1 second.
Okay.
You see
Do
it?
you solemnly, do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right. So, Mr. Schisler, I've already asked you, but you fully understand the plea offer that was made?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and all right, now, are you satisfied with your attorney and the advice that he has given you?
Yes.
Other than what was placed on the record, neither the prosecutor, the defendant, or anyone on the defendant's behalf has discussed any other possible sentence with the court. Is that correct, Mr. Daly?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Sneen?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Schisler, as far as you're aware, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
If a guilty plea is accepted, there will be no trial. This means that you will be giving up rights you would have had at trial. I'm going to explain those rights to you now to make sure that you understand them. You have a right to a speedy public trial by jury. You may ask for a non-jury trial, and if the prosecutor and court agree, you can have a non-jury trial. You have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to have the prosecuting attorney prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty, and you do not have to prove anything. You have the right to be present at trial and have witnesses against you appear at your trial and ask those witnesses questions. You have the right to have the court order any witnesses you have for your defense to appear at the trial. You have the right to remain silent during your trial and not to have your silence used against you. However, you also have the right to testify at your trial if you want to testify. Do you understand that if your plea is accepted, you may be giving up the right to appeal issues that would otherwise be appealable if you were convicted at trial? Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Do you understand that any appeal from the conviction and sentence pursuant to the plea will be by application for leave to appeal and not by right? Do you understand that?
Yes.
If you are not a citizen of the United States of America, a conviction of a crime may result in deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States of America, or denial of naturalization. Do you have any questions about the rights that I've given to you?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so sir, how do you wish to plead to the charge that on or about December 28th of 2021 in the village of Clinton in the county of Lenawee that you did commit the offense of assault with a dangerous weapon? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
All right. Has anyone made any threats or promises to you and to induce you to plead guilty to this charge?
No.
Do you understand if I accept this plea, you'll be giving up any and all claims that your plea is given as a result of promises or threats that were not disclosed to the court on the record during this hearing, or that it was not your own choice to enter the plea. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Is the prosecutor or defense counsel aware of any promises or threats or inducements other than the plea bargain to induce the defendant to plead guilty? Mr. Daly,
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Sneed?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Has your attorney, Mr. Schizler, promised you any other particular sentence or estimated what your sentence will be other than what I placed on the record?
No, Your Honor.
Is it your own choice to plead guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so Mr. Schizler, back on December 28th of 2021, were you in the village of Clinton in the county of Lenawee?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you live in Grand Blanc, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, now, when you were in the village of Clinton, did you come in contact with someone named Ricardo Rodriguez?
I didn't know their name at the time.
Would you-
Yes.
Okay, and where did you come in contact with Ricardo Rodriguez, or the gentleman? Where were
Your
you?
Honor, it's breaking up really bad, Your Honor.
I'm so sorry. Hold on. Hold on. All right, can you hear me better now?
Yes, Your Honor.
It's my, I'm sorry, it's not your fault. All right, so on December 28th, you came in contact with this gentleman, Mr. Rodriguez, in the village of Clinton. Where in the village of Clinton were you?
Your Honor, I don't actually recall any street names, but where the incident took place was right by the Big D Coffee. But again, I can't remember the name of the streets or anything like that.
Okay, did you have in your possession a pistol at the time?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so Mr. Sneed or Mr. Daly, you may need to step in to help me. So Mr. Schizler, when I say brandish, I mean, did you wave a gun around, or did you point a gun at somebody, or did you hit somebody with a gun? Or shoot somebody?
What I did was after slamming on my brakes and my gun case got dislodged from underneath the back seat. I reached for the gun case, put it in the driver's seat, and I pulled the pistol out with it still in the holster, and I held it up so they could see it. I didn't point it at them, and it was to get them to back off is what it was. During the incident, I actually passed a truck and a semi-truck and trailer in a no passing zone to get away from them. And I thought that I've lost them for multiple minutes, probably about 10, 15 minutes. I thought that I lost them until I was getting ready to make my turn into Big B Coffee, which I stopped frequently there to get my coffee on my way into Adrian from Grand Blanc. Before I turned my blinker on, the bright lights from behind me flashed in the cab of my truck. Then I looked over to my side view mirror on the right side of my truck, and they pulled up right next to me and slowed down and basically drafted me. And that's when I showed them my gun, was, to like back off because I was scared. And then I pulled into Big B, and that I saw them pull into a gas station. And Your Honor, at the time, my arm was in an arm sling pending a shoulder surgery that I had. So I had one hand. So I thought I was in danger when I pulled into the drive-through. I saw them stop at the gas station. I thought they were going to turn around.
You there,
I didn't
Mr.
want to get
Schizler.
stuck in the
Mr.
drive-through. So
Okay, so
Yes.
I'm gonna stop you there. Mr. Daly, I think that I can't really accept that plea because it sounds like there was some self-defense there. So what I'm gonna do is set it for trial, but also set another pre-trial date. All right, Mr. Daly?
That'd be fine, Judge.
All right, so let me see, Mr. Daly, I just did something else with you.
That was on the 18th.
January?
Yes. For a pretrial.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is set this for a pretrial on January 18 of 23 at 8:30 in the morning. That could be via Zoom, Mr. Schizler. And then, Miss, Miss, let me see, Miss Adams, could I get a trial date for like April, May?
Okay. One day,
Yes.
Yes.
we could do Wednesday, April 12th or Thursday, April 13th.
April 12th, Mr. Daly.
That'll be fine.
All right. All right, so we'll set this for April 12 of 23 at 9 a.m. So Mr. Schizler, you can zoom in for the pre-trial. Yes.
That's a Wednesday if you want to do 10:30.
Oh, I'm sorry, 10:30. All right. So you can zoom in for the pre-trial, Mr. Schizler, but you'll have to be in person for the trial date. I filled out a scheduling order and I will require, let's see, April 12. I'll require that all voir dire questions, jury instructions be provided to the court by April 3rd, along with any motions being filed and heard. So I filled that out. Right, and I filled out a scheduling order, so we will see you back on those days. Thank you, Mr. Schizler, and thank you, Mr. Daly.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. You're all set, Mr. Schizler. You can disconnect, all right?
Your Honor, I have one question.
Sure.
With this pending investigation, am I allowed to leave the state?
What are your bond conditions?
I really can't remember. I'm gonna have to look through that. It didn't say anything about not leaving the state, though. I just wanted to make sure.
Well, let's see if I have a copy of them. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't.
Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate that very much.
Maybe.
And it's not for vacation, it's actually for work.
No, it's fine. Hold on. Attorney. Hold on. Let's recall. All right, no contact. Miss Adams, the only, that's no contact provisions. I'm not seeing. Doesn't mean, what do you do for a living? Mr. Schizler,
Yes, Your Honor.
what do you do for a living?
Right now I work for General RV. I am an RV technician.
Okay, all right, Miss Adams, I don't have any bond information, but we can amend that bond to allow him to leave the state of Michigan for work purposes. If there is a bond condition opposite that. All right, Mr. Schizler, so you're all set.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, Mr. Daly, I think that takes care of you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Mr. Daly.
Judge, we can hear you a lot better now. I don't know what you did, but it's a lot better.
Well, I'm not hooked up to Polycom, but that doesn't work either because,
Yeah.
all right, so Salvatore Malaro, Mike Stevenson, let's see. I'm gonna. All right, I've got a bunch. All right, that's better. All right. All right, so Mr. Bennett, your client's name is Shoemate, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'm looking for him in the waiting room right now.
We had a problem last time and they sent me a screenshot of him in the waiting room, so I'm sure he's
Hold
there.
on, hold on. Maybe that'll help. Okay, now I've got rid of that echo. So Mr. Shoemate's not in the courtroom, right? Okay, so let me go through all the iPhones and unnamed phone devices. All right, I have a gentleman who's logged in on an iPhone, kind of wearing a brick colored shirt. Sir, what is your name?
John Christopher Roberts.
All right, Mr. Roberts, thank you so much. I've changed your screen name. What is your attorney's name?
Matthew Murphy.
All right, I'm gonna put his initials after your name. Mr. Murphy goes to Judge Olsaver's court first. So I'm gonna pop you in the waiting room, and when we get him back, I'll bring you in, all right?
Thank you,
Your Honor, last night when we tested the Zoom with Mr. Shoemate, his phone identified as Galaxy A03s.
Got him. All right. That should be him. Let's see.
Okay.
Is that him?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay, so Mr. Shoemate, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, ma'am.
All right, so hold on one second. All right, this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Gary Edward Shoemate. File number 22-21076FC. I have Jeffrey Bennett appearing on behalf of Mr. Shoemate, and I have Isaac Sneed appearing on behalf of the people. This is the date and time set for pretrial. Mr. Bennett, how do you wish to proceed?
Your Honor, at this point, I have now received the preliminary examination transcript. I haven't yet completed a motion to quash the bind over. My plan is to do that. Whether you want to set this for a final pretrial and trial date, or whether you want to just adjourn the pretrial, either one of those works for me. The issue for me is going to be the first 3 weeks of January. I'm in trials.
So Mr. Bennett, because of the nature of this case and also the file number, you'd be looking at May, June, probably April, May, June for a trial date. So why don't I give you you said the first 3 weeks of January, why don't I give you a February pretrial and motion date? And then you can file your motion and we can pretrial it on that day. Would that help you, Mr. Bennett?
Yes, I just wanted to do it the way that was most convenient for the.
Okay, what about February 8th for a pretrial and motion date?
That works for me, Your Honor.
All right, so if you could do a stiffen order to adjourn to February 8th of 23, and then with, obviously the time constraints, you can file your motion and notice it for February 8th as well. And we'll put it in the book that it would be that day, your motion.
And that you said 8:30, is that correct, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, so Mr. Shoemate, your bond's continued, and Mr. Bennett, thank you for your patience this morning.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am.
It's
Thank
good to
you.
see you again, Mr. Sneed.
Oh, okay, yeah, Mr. Sneed, sorry. All right, is that date good for you, Mr. Sneed? I'm assuming that's not your file anyway.
It's fine, Judge. Thank you.
Okay, all right, Mr. Shoemate, I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect you. All
Thank you,
right,
ma'am.
I still do not have Mr. Lyons. So Miss Adams, do you think you could call Mr. Adams or Mr. Lyons' office? I'm sure he's probably next door in a different court. But.
Okay.
Okay, so let me find out who these people are. I have someone who's logged in on an iPhone. I'm gonna send you a request to start your video. Can I ask what your name is, please? Any of your speakers? Okay.
Robert Erie, appearing on behalf of Chris Nowak.
Yep. All right. Good morning, Mr. Erie.
Morning, Your Honor.
Find you. Solar left. All right, I'm gonna find Mr. Nowak. Is he in the courtroom?
No, he should be on Zoom from my office.
Yep, I got him.
I'm in another location.
That's fine. All right, Mr. Nowak, can you hear me? He has not connected to audio, so I'm gonna send a chat message for him to connect to audio.
Judge, who did you need Mr. Lyons for?
Mr. Tyndall. Let me double check. He is page 1. Mr. Tyndall, Braxton Tyndall. He's set for arraignment today. All right, Mr. Nowak, can you hear me?
Yes.
Excellent. This is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Christopher Matthew Nowak. Call number 22-20795FH. I have Robert D. Erie, P26451, appearing on behalf of the defendant. And I have I have Isaac Sneed appearing on behalf of the people. This is the date and time set for pretrial. Mr. Erie, how did you wish to proceed today?
Thank you, Your Honor. Audio is a little sketchy. I hope you can hear me okay. I believe the prosecutor and I have reached an agreement that my client intends on pleading to CS no jail. I would request that we set the plea for another date. I do want to meet with my client and his parents. My client has some cognitive issues, and I want to make sure that we're all on the same music with his plea.
All right, so are you available January 11th at 8:30 a.m.?
If you will give me just one moment, Your Honor, I will check.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor, I am available.
All right, so we will set this over to January 11th of 2023 at 8:30 in the morning. That'll be via Zoom. Unless you want to come in person, we're here. And Mr. Erie, will you do the stipend order to adjourn? And Mr. Sneed, can you sign your name with permission?
Yes, please. Thank you, Judge.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Erie.
Thank you, Your Honor. Everybody have a nice day.
You as well. Thank you. You're all set, Mr. Nowak.
Thank you.
So, who is your attorney?
Mr. Murphy.
Okay, he's next door.
Sean Murdoch, I don't know.
What's your last name?
Murdoch.
Judge, who's that for Mr. Murphy? Is that Orozco?
No, it was Espinoza.
I can do Orozco's arraignment when you're ready.
Okay, so Miss Adams. So Mr. Murdoch, want to come up to the podium? Mr. Malaro, I do have Mr. Murdoch.
Matt just said I could do Orozco. I don't know the other one.
Well, Mr. Murdoch is your client.
Oh, yeah, I can do him.
Okay, thank you. All right, so this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Sean Nicholas Murdoch, file number 22-21093FH. I show Salvatore Malaro. Is that your attorney?
Yes.
Okay, represents Mr. Murdoch, and I have Isaac Sneed appearing on behalf of the people. This is the date and time set for a pretrial in this matter. So, Mr. Malaro, how do you wish to proceed with Mr. Murdoch?
Your Honor, I need to speak with Mr. Bayonetto on this. There was a statement by the victim in this case that I need to nail down. So I'd ask if we could set this for another pretrial.
Okay. So, Ms. Adams, Mr. Murdoch is present, so I want a notice of hearing on him, if we could. I'm going to set this over to January 25 at 8:30 in the morning. Yeah. but I'm gonna get you a notice, okay? So your bond's continued. We'll set this over to January 25 at 8:30 in the morning. Mr. Malaro, you do the I'll do Miss Adams will do the notice because he's here. So, all right, want to have a seat and she'll bring it right out to you, okay? All right,
Thank you, Judge.
thank you. All right, so in the last two rows, is anyone a defendant that has a case being called today? No, just here to observe.
I have a probation violation.
What's your name?
Loomis, Travis Loomis.
Yep, come up to the podium. So this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Travis James Loomis, file number 17-18607H. Mr. Loomis, you're here today on a request and summons for probation violation. It alleges here that you violated your articles of probation dated November 1 of 2017, and that you failed to pay $2,120 owed to the court, including $792 in restitution. And your probation ends ended November 1 of 22. Is that correct? It ended.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so Mr. Loomis, this was filed on October 25th, so your probation is not over.
Oh, I do know that.
Okay, so has anything been paid, Mr. Stevenson?
Yes, it has. He's been cooperative. He's paid quite a bit. His initial restitution was $8,100. I wouldn't have any objections to adjourning this out to give him additional time to pay. I've had no issues with him.
What is the other balance of, I know that restitution $792, but what is the other money over?
I believe that's court costs, attorney fees. I don't know for sure, but the $792 is the restitution and the rest of it is court cost, attorney fees.
How fast can you raise $792?
792. I mean, it would take me a couple months probably.
You got a job?
And not currently, no.
There's jobs everywhere. Why don't you have a job?
I am going through staffing agencies right now and through Mission Works.
You can wash dishes.
Still don't have one.
Every restaurant in town needs a dishwasher.
Oh, I promise, I've been looking.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you 60 days to pay this off. If you pay the 792, I will waive what's the remainder. Do you understand?
I do understand.
So probate, and I'm glad that you've been doing well, you've been compliant. Those are good things. But there's like two things. You can go to jail or you can pay fines and costs to do probation.
Yes.
So, to stay out of jail, you gotta pay everything off. So you can get a job dishwashing, you can get a job bussing tables, bagging groceries. There is no job beneath you to pay this off. Do you understand that?
I do understand.
So today is November 30th. Let's see, I'm gonna set this over to Miss Adams. Do I have January 25th or do I have February 1 available that I could set this over to?
Yes, you do.
Okay, so, and I'll get you a notice of hearing today. I'm gonna set this over to February 1. And I want you to either bring $792 with you or pay it off. If you pay it off, you might be able to get your tax money by then, or maybe your girlfriend will, or whatever. But if you pay it off, I'll give Mr. Stevenson permission to dismiss, okay?
Okay.
So how much you gotta pay by February 1?
792.
All right.
Also, that I know that number is not including the supervision fees. Will that still have to be paid off after?
Mr. Stevenson?
If he does, we can still discharge him without paying the supervision fees, but the state will try to collect from him in the future.
Gotcha.
I just want the 792 for restitution, because I like to make people whole, right?
Yes.
So have a seat, we'll get you a notice of hearing, all right?
All right.
Mr. Sala, I'm sorry.
I can go back.
Right there, right there. Mr. Sala, you were here and I was in the middle of a case, and now,
I appreciate that.
Martinez, right?
Yes,
Right, who's your prosecutor?
it was Stevie Near, but she's not doing well today, so anybody that could fill in, probably Isaac is familiar with it.
Okay, so let me get your
just-
client, hold on. Mr. Martinez, Ricardo Perez Martinez. Okay. All right, hold on, Mr. Retzko, I'll be right with you. Mr. Martinez, can you hear me?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Ricardo Perez Martinez. This is file number 21-20542. This is an FC file. I have Stan Sala appearing on behalf of the defendant. Mr. Sneed, you're stepping in for Ms. Neer today. This is one of my older files, and it is an FC file. This is set for trial. When is it set for trial?
Next week.
Next week. So, where do the parties stand?
Well, at this point, we're negotiating a potential settlement of the case. An issue has come up with the fact that he is on a green card. So we are attempting to contact an immigration attorney to make sure that he is potentially going to be able to stay in the United States with this, if he enters the plea. And what type of plea?
Is it a felony plea or a misdemeanor plea?
It'd be a felony plea.
No. He would serve any term of sentence and be deported, is my understanding.
Well, I did talk with an attorney briefly, and he said there's a lot of factors involved. Potentially, he could stay depending on when this allegedly occurred, how long ago, obviously, it occurred, what the type of charge is, what he's done since the period of time that he's been here. This is like 10 years ago. So he's been working, he's got children here. So those are all factors they look at before they determine whether they will deport him or not, according to that attorney. So I don't do immigration, so he's going to contact his personal attorney and see if in fact there's a possibility he could stay without deportation.
So you're asking for an adjournment?
Yes.
All right, so Mr. Sneed, what is the position of the people?
The people don't object to that request, Your Honor. I know in speaking with Ms. Mears, she got this case somewhat late from Ms. Borders. No objection.
We
All right.
potentially have something worked out with Ms. Borders. but
Okay.
she's-
I can't hear Mrs. Shala very well, but go ahead.
All right, so I'm gonna set this for February 1 at 8:30 in the morning. For a pre-trial, and we'll see what you have worked out. Obviously, if you work something out in advance, you can come in earlier, but February 1 at 8:30, and Mr. Sala, you'll do the step in order to adjourn. Mr. Sneed, can you sign your name at permission?
Yes, thank you.
All right, I will do that.
All right, so Mr. Martinez,
Yes, Your Honor.
Perez Martinez, February 1 at 8:30, all right?
And
Okay,
Judge,
thank
did you
Your
want
Honor.
to cancel the trial on the record?
Yeah, we'll take the trial off the record. Or off the docket. Okay. All right, you're all set, Mr. Perez Martinez and Mr. Sullivan.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Adams, if you want to come get some of these files, you're more than welcome to. All right. All right, Mr. Ratzko, let me get your file. All right, thank you, Mr. Sala.
Thank you for your patience. I understand your.
It's okay. This has been the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Joel Jesus Aratzko, file number 22-21150FH and 22-21151FH. I have Mr. Malaro, you're gonna step in for Mr. Murphy.
Yes, Judge, I'm just trying to locate the information.
All right, so I did receive it. Did you locate it?
No. But it's probably the same. I don't think it's changed from the complaint, has it? I think,
I don't know.
No.
I have
okay,
file number 22-21150FH, Mr. Ratzko is charged with count 1, police officer assaulting, resisting, and obstructing, which is a 2-year felony. I have count 2, police officer assaulting, resisting, and obstructing, which is also a 2-year felony. And I have a habitual offender third offense notice, so that would be different than the initial information, which means that the maximum penalty on both of these, if you were convicted, would be up to 4 years of prison. And then on file number 22-21151FH, Mr. Ratzko is charged with 1 count of police officer assaulting, resisting, and obstructing, which carries a maximum penalty of up to 2 years in prison. And count 2 trespassing, which is a 30-day misdemeanor. And he also has a habitual offender notice, so the maximum penalty, if he were convicted at trial, could be up to 4 years in prison. So, Mr. Malaro, were you able to find the felony information?
No, I don't see it in the file, Judge, sorry. But we would waive its reading, waive any defects of the time and place of service. Mr. Roscoe will stand mute as to all charges and ask that a pretrial date be set.
Yes, ma'am. I was supposed to talk to Mr. Murphy today. Me and him was trying to, I had a lot to talk about. No disrespect, but me and Mr. Malaro in the past did not have a good agreement and we had bad history in the back. Can I get a different?
Mr. Ratzko, hold on a second. So during my court time in the morning, you wouldn't have gotten an opportunity to speak with Mr. Murphy because I don't have time for client meetings. Mr. Murphy will get a hold of you and meet with you so they can talk about your case, but it wouldn't be on a Wednesday morning during my docket because I just don't have time for that. Mr. Malaro is not handling your case, but instead of making you wait there for an hour for Mr. Murphy to get here, he's just waiving your arraignment for you, and then Mr. Murphy will still be your attorney. All right.
I really didn't want to waive my arraignment. But do I still have court today at 1:30?
Okay, so you want to wait? You don't want to waive your arraignment? All right.
I don't really know.
Felony.
We can read it.
Hold on.
I don't really know what this means by waiving it.
Everybody stop talking, Mr. Ratzko. If you're not waiving your arraignment,
I apologize.
what that means is I'm going to read the felony information against you and then ask you how you plead.
That's why I wanted to talk to my attorney because I didn't know what it means to waive it. I don't know what it means to waive the arraignment. I really don't.
I'm telling you what it means. So if you don't waive your arraignment, I read verbatim the entire felony information to you. And then I ask you whether you plead guilty or not guilty. So I'm going to get your files and now I'm going to read your entire felony information to you. Hold on.
Well, I'm sorry. Do I still have court at 1:30? Because I was told that I had court at 1:30.
I don't know, not with me, but I don't know. You might have it somewhere else, but I don't have your schedule.
Because me and Murphy were supposed to talk and he was supposed to try to get a plea bargain. That's what he was going to try to do.
So, Mr. Ratzko, you probably have stuff going on in multiple courts. I don't see that let me see if you're on my docket.
Judge, he's scheduled for municipal or district court at 1:30 today.
Yeah, you have a case in district court. That is nothing to do with me, and Mr. Murphy will be there for you on that. All right, so file number 22-21150FH in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Joel Jesus Orozco. It states that it is alleged that on October 22nd of 2022 in the city of Adrian in the county of Lenawee, that Mr. Orozco did commit the following offenses. Count 1, police officer assaulting, resisting, and obstructing. Did assault, batter, wound, resist, obstruct, oppose, or endanger Officer Nieto, a police officer of Adrian Police Department that the defendant knew or had reason to know was performing his duties. The maximum penalty for that offense could be up to 2 years in prison and or a $2,000 fine. Now, you do have a habitual offender third offense notice, so that means the actual maximum penalty is up to 4 years in prison on that count. You're charged in count 2, police officer assaulting, resisting, and obstructing, which alleges that on that same date and time in the city of Adrian, you did assault, batter, wound, resist, obstruct, oppose, or endanger Sergeant Adams, a police officer of the Adrian Police Department that the defendant knew or had reason to know was performing his duties. That carries a maximum penalty of 2 years or $2,000 fine. But once again, you have a habitual offender notice. So on that file, you are facing up to 4 years in prison. Mr. Rasko, how do you plead to those charges? Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty, but ma'am, I apologize. I
Okay,
wasn't.
so I
trying
will
to-
enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf. On file number 22-21151H, in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Joel Jesus Orozco, it is alleged that on or about October 19th of 2022 in Madison Township in the county of Lenawee, that the defendant did commit the offense of count 1, police officer assaulting, resisting, and obstructing. And it's alleged that you did assault, batter, wound, resist, obstruct, oppose, or endanger Officer Ritchie, a police officer of Madison Township that defendant knew or had reason to know was performing his duties. That carries a maximum penalty of up to 2 years in prison and or a $2,000 fine. But because you have a habitual offender third offense notice, the maximum penalty if you're convicted could be up to 4 years in prison. You're also charged with count 2 trespass, which alleges you did enter the lands or premises of Walmart without lawful authority after having been forbidden to do so by Officer Ritchie, who was the agent of the owner of said lands and premises. That carries a maximum penalty of up to 30 days in jail and or a $250 fine. Mr. Orozco, how do you plead to that charge? Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
All right, so I will enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf on both of those counts or both of those files, and we will set this matter for pretrial. Let me see here. I'll set it for pretrial on February 1st of 2023 at 8:30 in the morning. And we will mail out a notice of hearing for that pretrial. Mr. Rasko?
Is there a way we can bring it up forward? I apologize. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I just.
No, Mr. Rasko, I don't think you were being disrespectful, but if you're not willing to waive it, I have to read it. It's fine. That's my next available pretrial, Mr. Rasko. Mr. Murphy is very good about if there is a resolution reached and he wants his client to come in and take a plea, I take it much sooner. All right?
Yeah, he just said he was gonna try to aim for a plea today.
Okay,
That's
so we're
why.
all set, Mr. Orozco. Thank you. You have a good day.
Judge, what was that pretrial date?
February 1 at 8:30.
Okay, thank you.
All right. All right, you're all set, Mr. Orozco. Good luck this afternoon. Let's see. I'm still waiting, Miss Adams, for Mr. Williams, for Miss Underwood. All right, so let's see what I got on my way. Still. Miss Adams, do we have any contact with Mr. Lyons?
His office was trying to get a hold of him. He was in court, another court.
Okay. All right. Mr. Murphy. Mr. Malaro, you have Samantha Ladd.
Correct.
File. All right, let her in. Miss Ladd, if you could start your video and start your audio. All right, Miss Ladd, if you could just sit still for a moment, we'll take your case, all right? All right, this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Samantha Diane Ladd. We have 3 files, 22-20961FH, 22-20962FH, and 22-20963FH. This is the date and time set for a pretrial. These matters, I have Salvatore Malaro appearing on behalf of Miss Ladd, and I have Isaac Sneed appearing on behalf of the people. Mr. Malaro, how do you wish to proceed?
Judge, I'm going to ask to adjourn this one more time. Ms. Ladd tried to make an appointment with me yesterday, but I was booked solid with appointments yesterday afternoon. and we couldn't squeeze her in. So I can cover the plea offer with her in great detail.
Okay. Do you want to give her a date and time to come see you now on the record so that I know she'll come see you?
She's been pretty good about staying in touch with me, Judge, so I
Okay.
don't think it's
All
necessary.
right. So, we'll set this out to January 18th at 8:30 in the morning. And Mr. Malaro, can you do the step in order to adjourn?
I certainly can, Your Honor.
All right, so Ms. Ladd, we'll see you back on January 18th at 8:30 in the morning, all right?
All right, before you let me go, can I talk to Mr. Malero real quick?
No, you can schedule an appointment at his office today. Go ahead and call. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Your Honor.
All right, Evelyn Bell. Let's see who this is. Miss Bell. Sam Malaro. All right, we'll let Miss Bell in. Miss Underwood, I swear, I'm just waiting for the jail. I haven't forgotten you.
Do we have Mr. Hillard, Your Honor, or
What's Mr. Hillard's first name?
hang on, Your Honor. James.
Yeah, I do, maybe. Or James H. Setting everybody. Mr. Hilliard, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we get. Oh. All right, so this is in the matter of Chloe M. Morris versus James D. Hilliard II. File number 22-49582PP. This is the date and time set for a pretrial in this case. I have Rhonda Underwood appearing on behalf of Mr. Hilliard, and I have Isaac Sneed appearing on behalf of the people. So, Ms. Underwood, how do you wish to proceed today?
Your Honor, could I have a breakout with Mr. Hilliard?
Yep, so Mr. Hilliard, I'm going to open, gosh, just like the first breakout room this morning. Breakout room for you and Miss Underwood. And go ahead and
Quick
click
question,
on
would I
join.
have to switch over to it? Okay, never mind.
Okay. All right, Evelyn Bell, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, can you start your video for me, please?
Yep, give me 1 second. I have to figure out how to do this. There.
Perfect. All right, Mr. Malaro, when you're ready.
Hey.
Okay, I lost Mr. Malaro. So Ms. Bell.
Miss
I'm
Bell?
gonna mute you for-
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
Mr. Malaro.
Sorry, Judge.
It's
I
okay.
do 12
So
things.
this is
I
in the matter of the
can't
people of the
multitask.
This is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Evelyn Marie Bell, file number 22-21148FH. I have Salvatore Malaro appearing on behalf of Ms. Bell, and I have Isaac Sneed appearing on behalf of the people. I have a letter in my file from my pretrial services coordinator stating that Evelyn Bell is required to do 3 times a week drug screens, was just bound over to circuit court. She has her arraignment with you this morning. Ms. Bell has missed her November 23rd and November 29 drug test and is not returning my phone calls. So, Ms. Bell, I need you to report to the courthouse immediately to do a drugs test.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. The reason why I did it the
I
23rd,
don't
I
want
called.
to hear why. I don't want to hear why. I'm just saying I need you to come to the courthouse today.
Okay.
Are you able to come in the next hour?
Yeah, I can try to get there to the next hour.
Oh, well, not try, because if you don't, I'm going to issue a bench warrant. You understand?
Okay.
If you miss your drug screens, I issue bench warrants. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
Especially when someone's charged with a methamphetamine case.
Okay.
So and I'm sorry, Mr. Malaro, is this an arraignment?
It is, Judge.
Okay, so Mr. Millar, do you waive the reading of the felony information?
I do. We acknowledge receipt of it, waive its reading, waive any defects at the time and place of service. And I believe Ms. Bell is going to plead guilty to an amended information count 2 use of methamphetamine. Is that correct, Ms. Bell?
Yes.
All right, hold on one second.
We'd also acknowledge receipt of the witness list, Judge.
Okay, hold on. Okay, okay, so Mr. Sneed, I do not have an amended information. I do have the felony information. So you're going to be amending the information to add a count 2 use of methamphetamine. Is that what you said, Mr. Millar?
Yes.
That is accurate, Judge.
Okay, what is the maximum penalty for a use?
1 year.
Okay. All right. And, okay. All right. Okay. So Ms. Bell, Rachel. All right. So I'm in the waiting room. I'm gonna put this dude in the waiting room. All right, so Ms. Bell, raise your right hand for me, please. All right, do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right, can you state your full name for the record?
Evelyn Marie Bell.
All right, so Ms. Bell, you have heard the statement of your attorney and the prosecuting attorney is that your intention to plead guilty to an added count 2 use of methamphetamine, which carries a maximum penalty of up to 1 year in jail.
Yes.
All right, and you understand there could be up to $7,500 in fines as well.
Yes.
Okay, now, are you satisfied with Mr. Millar as your attorney and the advice that he has given you?
Yes, I am.
All right. Do you want, let me see, neither the prosecutor, the defendant, nor anyone on the defendant's behalf has discussed a possible sentence with the court. Is that correct, Mr. Steen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that correct, Mr. Millar?
That is correct, babe.
Is that correct, Ms. Bell?
Yes.
All right, so Ms. Bell, if a guilty plea is accepted, there will be no trial. This means that you will be giving up rights you would have had at trial. I'm going to explain those rights to you now to make sure that you understand them. You have a right to a speedy public trial by jury. You may ask for a non-jury trial, and if the prosecutor and court agree, you can have a non-jury trial. You have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to have the prosecuting attorney prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty and you do not have to prove anything. You have the right to be present at trial and have witnesses against you appear at your trial and ask those witnesses questions. You have the right to have the court order any witnesses you have for your defense to appear at the trial. You have the right to remain silent during your trial and not to have your silence used against you. However, you also have the right to testify at your trial if you want to testify. Do you understand that if your plea is accepted, you may be giving up the right to appeal issues? Hold on a second, my computer's doing something here. Do you understand that if your plea is accepted, you may be giving up the right to appeal issues that would otherwise be appealable if you were convicted at trial? Do you understand that?
Not until now. I don't really understand what you're saying, so that I give
Okay.
up all rights, right?
No. So listen, I'm going through the rights you would have if you had a trial. One of the rights you have is if you go to a jury trial and you get convicted by a jury, you have an automatic right to appeal because it was a jury trial conviction. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
If you enter a plea offer and plead guilty to something, then you lose that automatic right to appeal, and you have to petition the Court of Appeals in the Supreme Court to appeal any issues. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you understand that if you are not a citizen of the United States of America, a conviction of a crime may result in deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States of America, or denial of naturalization? Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
All right. Do you have any questions now about the rights that I've given to you?
No, I just have one question now. Is there possibility that I can do outpatient rehab? Because I've already stopped doing all that and I'm trying to get my life better.
So there's a ton of possibilities. But I'm not specifically sentencing you to anything today.
Okay.
But you know, the courts do try to provide assistance in getting a rehab program through CMH or whoever it might be. So, you know, those are things the court and the probation department can help to assist you with. But as of right now, I don't know what I'm going to do with you at sentencing. So, okay.
Okay, yes, I already see a psychiatrist right now.
Good. All right. So how do you wish to plead to the charge that on or about August 22nd of 2022 in the city of Adrian and the county of Lenawee that you did use methamphetamine?
I admit, yes.
Say it.
Guilty.
Okay. So, ma'am, all right. Has anyone made any threats or promises to you to induce you to plead guilty to this charge?
No.
Do you understand if I accept this plea, you will be giving up any and all claims that your plea is given as a result of promises or threats that were not disclosed to the court on the record during this hearing, or that it was not your own choice to enter the plea?
Yes, I do.
All right. Is the prosecutor or defense counsel aware of any promises or threats or inducements other than the plea bargain to induce the defendant to plead guilty? Mr. Malaro?
I am not aware of any, Judge. No.
Mr. Sneed?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Has your attorney promised you any particular sentence or estimated what your sentence will be?
No.
Is it your own choice to plead guilty?
Yes.
All right. So, Ms. Bell, on August 22nd of 2022, in the city of Adrian in the county of Lenawee?
Yes.
And did you have in your possession methamphetamine?
Yes, I did.
And did you use that methamphetamine?
Yes, I did.
And you knew it was methamphetamine?
Yes, I did.
And you had no legal right to possess that, is that correct?
No.
All right. Mr. Sneed, are you satisfied?
Yes, Judge, thank you.
Has the court complied with MCR 6.302 B, C, and D? Mr. Sneed?
Yes, it has.
Mr. Malaro?
Yes, the court has, Your Honor.
All right, I accept the plea. It has been given understandably, voluntarily, and accurately. The defendant has full knowledge of her rights. She does have competent counsel. This court has made no agreement regarding the possibility of a plea or possible sentence in this case with the prosecutor, the defense attorney, or the defendant, or anyone acting in the interest of either of them. All right, so Ms. Bell, this is a misdemeanor file. So I'm going to refer this matter down to district court probation for the pre-sentence report. So when you come in today to take your drug test, once you're done with that, I need you to go down to the district court probation office and check in and tell them you entered a plea to a misdemeanor. I'm setting sentencing for January 12th at 8:15 in the morning.
Okay.
Now, ma'am, when you meet with the probation department and district court, be truthful with them about your background, the events that occurred, and we'll see you back here for sentencing on January 12th at 8:15 in the morning. Your drug screens, you have to do them.
Okay.
There's never any excuses. So I'll let Mr. Coast know that you're coming in this morning. So give him a call. Let him know you're coming in, all right?
All right, what was his name again?
Darren Coast.
Darren Coast, okay, because yeah, I got told on Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, to go to the Commonwealth building, the common right across the street from the old police station, and they weren't open.
Okay, so you have his number. He's been in contact with you, right?
No, he hasn't. I didn't know that the probation officer changed until Monday morning.
Ma'am, he's not your probation officer. He's pretrial services. He's
yes.
the one that told you to go to the Commonwealth building.
No, it was the one downstairs.
Judge,
It was,
Your Honor, does she report to the third floor for the drug screen?
What?
Does Ms. Bell report to the third floor to do the drug screen? Or does she do it at the
I'm actually, Becky, could you see if Darren will log in?
All right.
And I'll just,
And also, is
Hold
this in via Zoom sentencing?
I haven't gotten to that yet. So, and No, I'm gonna do it in person. So could you see if Darren will zoom in and I'll put him in a breakout room with Miss Bell? All right.
Judge, I
next
sent you a
on-
chat message as well.
I know, but I know that Miss McGrain, but she's coming here today. So I sent her today. All right, so, all right, so hold on, Miss Bell, Mr.
Okay,
Coast will zoom in and you can meet with them.
okay,
And that's gonna be in person for sentencing.
okay,
And Ms. Bell, if you have questions, you gotta call my office and talk to me.
okay. All right, that's that. Now, can I have time? Because I have to find a ride to the courthouse.
Yeah, you got an hour.
Okay, I'm gonna try my hardest to get a ride there. 'Cause I
Okay,
have no
so
ride.
you gotta, hold on, everybody stop talking. So Miss Bell, when Mr. Coast gets here, you're gonna talk to him. He'll
Okay.
advise you on what he wants you to do, all right?
Okay, all right.
Okay, she's on Zoom, so I was gonna Zoom you in to talk to her and she was to get your contact information and.
Okay, who's that? Oh,
Bell.
Okay, Judge, I'll be right in there.
Okay.
Thank you.
She's gonna come in today. She just needed instructions from you.
Gotcha, thank you.
Hold on, he's gonna zoom in. Miss Adams, were you able to reach Mr. Lyons?
I'm sorry, Judge.
Were you able to reach Mr. Lyons?
Nope, still waiting to hear back.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do for you guys, because you've been here all morning. Mr. Lyons is in court somewhere in Jackson and not able to break loose, so I apologize for that. You're here, it's arraignment. So I will mark that you are present. And I'm gonna set this over to another day so you can go on your way, all right? So would next Wednesday morning be okay?
Judge, I don't know who we have there.
I know, because this isn't on the record.
Okay,
Would you be able to come next Wednesday at 8:30?
Yeah, I'll just have to delay my nursing assignment.
Delay your what?
My nursing assignment.
No, I don't want to do that. Is there another day of the week better?
I just want to get myself taken care of, whatever works for you.
Okay, so I'm gonna set this over, Miss Adams, in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus, I'm gonna get you a notice today too. Let me find you here. The matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Braxton Tyndall, phone number 22-21144 FC. George Lyons represents Mr. Tyndall, but he is in another courtroom and unable to pop in. Mr. Tyndall is present. Miss Adams, I'm gonna move this over to next Wednesday morning at 8:30.
Okay.
Now, ma'am, if you contact Mr. Lyons' office, they can do a waiver form and get that signed, and then you won't have to come back on that day, okay? So get a hold of his office about a waiver. Just tell him a waiver. All right, and we'll get you a notice. We're all set. And you can go. All right. Okay, Mr. Coast, I am gonna put you in a breakout room with Miss Bell. Now, Miss Bell, I ordered that she's gotta come here today and do a drug test. And because she's coming here and she doesn't live in the city of Adrian, I was going to have her also report to district court probation to get that set up, even though it's not a Thursday or Friday, all right?
All right, thank you, Judge.
Yep, so she did enter a plea today to use of methamphetamine, so.
Okay,
All right, so Miss Bell, Mr. Coast, I'm gonna open up a breakout room. When you're done talking to him, Miss Bell, you can just disconnect and follow Mr. Coast's instructions, all right?
Okay,
Yeah, I'll bring him in. I had to put him out, so they're making too much noise. Mr. Williams,
Yeah,
why don't you come sit down?
yes, ma'am.
There you are. Hi, Mr. Williams. All right, this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus D'Angelo Monte Williams, file number 22-211 33FH. I have Rhonda Underwood appearing on behalf of Mr. Williams. This is the date and time set for an arraignment in this matter. Ms. Underwood, how do you wish to proceed?
Your Honor, we would waive the reading, acknowledge receipt of the information and the prosecution's witness list and request for discovery. And we would ask that this be set for a pretrial. Your
Mr.
Honor.
Williams, are you okay? You seem like you're having a seizure. Are you all right? He's having a seizure.
Oh.
Can you call the jail and tell him Mr. Williams is having a seizure?
I'm calling, Judge.